Hey there, Variety here. Welcome to today's video in which we're going to be doing a sprite guide for Fantasy Tales Sword and Magic. So today's guide is going to cover everything you need to know about sprites, including higher, higher level stuff that you probably don't have access to yet unless you're on NA1. Before we get into that though, I do want to mention that I have updated the spreadsheet. It now has a sprite guide tab in which has a lot of information written out along with screenshots and information that is written down to be used alongside this video to help you understand everything you need to know. As if I put everything into this video, it would be a 30-minute video. Okay, so let's have a look at the sprite menu. So sprites, effectively they're pets, or a form of pet since mercenaries also exist. So sprites are pets that, when you evolve them, will give you extra stat bonuses. They'll give you abilities, passive effects. They're actually extremely important. And they're a big effect on your gear score and your abilities. So they're definitely something that you're going to want to, focus on. Okay, so let's talk about things in line. So the first thing I want to talk about is tiers. So here you have the blue tiers, then you have the purple tiers, which is the mutated, then you have the yellow, which is legendary. It's actually, sorry, it's epic, and orange is legendary. So the first thing I want to note is look at the gear score. My rare, which is level 70, gives less gear score than my level 30 legendary does. So having a higher tier pet is actually a huge bonus. And not only that, but their abilities are amazing in comparison. Okay, so let's talk about the... Just scrolling down. Okay, so let's talk about the stat line, the information up here. So here we have XP. You basically just use sprite items to upgrade your level. And once it's reached its max level, you get to evolve it. I'll talk a little bit about evolving a little bit later in the video. So if we go back to info, we have lifespan. Lifespan is pretty basic. It's basically when it runs out, your pet, I believe it dies. So you just click this, hit here, go to marketplace and buy it for basically a bit of silver. As long as you're not being completely AFK for months at a time, honestly, this shouldn't really worry you. Okay, so now that when you upgrade, your abilities get better. So you have two sets of stats, okay? You have the abilities for having, for owning the pet. And then you have the ability, well, the stat lines you get for putting it in the sprite wheel. We'll talk more about the sprite wheel a little bit later. So let's go to the evolve tab. So the evolve tab is evolving your pet. So there are two ways of doing this. You can evolve solo, and when you evolve solo, you can get one of these stat lines, right? It'll cost you a couple million silver and you'll be offered a stat line. You can decline, and if you decline, it'll cost you silver and you can try again. But if you get unlucky, you could have to do this 4 or 5 times, and this will cost you a lot of silver. So ideally, you want to find somebody with the same pet as you. So let's say, for example, you're using a yellow lizard chief. You need somebody that has the same pet, and they'll come and do it with you. And if they do it with you, you get to pick your stat line. And because you get to pick your stat line, you don't have to keep re-rolling. So it's actually really beneficial to find somebody else to do it with. Keep in mind that evolving can only be done when it's at its max level. And when you evolve, it's, to the next star, it actually upgrades your abilities. So it makes your active ability more powerful, and it makes your stat lines from your passive more powerful, as well as any effect in there. So evolving to the next step is actually crucial. So personality is something you're not going to see until you're a higher level. Even I can't reshape yet because I'm not level 62, but I have unlocked this tab. Basically what's going on in here, I believe the personality will probably give you some kind of stat line. And down here we have the toys. So you're able to put the toys on the sprite pet to make it more powerful. The toys also have set effects, so you're going to want to collect the, the right toys to get the right set effects to get the bonuses that you want. You can also upgrade the toys, so you need to gather multiples of the toys to keep upgrading them to upgrade your sprite, and when you upgrade your sprite, it gives you extra stats. It's kind of like a never-ending avalanche of just extra stats. Here we have the formation. When you upgrade your star level, it will allow you to upgrade your formation level, which will give you more stats. Up here, you have the ability to pet. I believe it's play or pet, and it'll give some stats each day. So there we go, an extra 200 XP. It's not really that helpful considering the XP that your pets actually need. So let's keep moving quickly because there's a lot of information to talk about. So sprite abilities, if you go into the info, the far left, these are the ones that you get depending on if it's on your wheel or not. The middle one will be the active ability. So the active ability will only work if it's in the middle of the sprite wheel. I will talk about this in a moment. And the ability on the right will work if it's anywhere on the sprite wheel. So let's open up the sprite wheel. So the sprite wheel, the two in the middle, you get their battle pet skills and use them in battle, okay? And the ones on the outside, you get the battle pet talents. So you want to make sure that you have the right pets in the middle. I, for example, here have the battle pets in the middle because they have DPS abilities. But this pet up here, for example, has a super powerful shield ability, which shields all your allies, which could also be used in certain situations. Okay, so let's scroll down and keep spinning through. So the sprite wheel is pretty basic. Best pets in the middle for your abilities, pets for stat lines and passives on the outside. Okay, so we talked about evolving. The evolving, you want to do it with somebody else with the same pet. Personality, we spoke about personality. Okay, so let's talk about mini pets. Keep in mind, if you're not understanding anything, go and have a look at the spreadsheet. So mini pets are very basic. You just send them away to collect items with exploration. I've already sent them away here, so I'm just going to collect them back. And as you see, I'm getting items. You want different pets because different areas take different pets to dispatch. And they take quite a while to come back. And slowly they'll level up. They may be more important later in the game, but they're definitely nowhere near as important as battle pets. Okay, so hatch egg is pretty basic. You know, you put the egg in and it's got a timer and then you hatch it, right? Pretty straightforward. Okay, so we've talked a lot about what pets can do and, you know, how they boost you. But let's talk quickly about, you know, how to obtain them, okay? So sprite pets can be obtained in a couple of different ways. Let's see if I have let's actually go into the sprite menu. So we're going to go into the sprite menu. Let's scroll down here and go get sprite, okay? Here are the possible sprites throughout the game. So I'm not going to go and catch them because it's actually very straightforward and you don't need my explanation. But basically, the blue tier pets here are caught with... They are caught with sprite chests. So the idea with these little things, they're easy to get. You throw them in mass and eventually you capture your pet. You keep catching the same pet so you can either get the egg and dismantle it to get more shards, because when you evolve, you need shards. That's the most important part about evolving. You need shards, and the only way to get shards is by breaking down eggs of the same type or by trying to capture it and just getting the shards that way. Or you can also get them in the store and through a dungeon, but generally you need the shards, okay? So the blue ones are really easy to catch and not too much hassle. The purple ones, which are the mutated, they require a chain. So the chain I'm talking about is if we open up the trading menu and we go to the mall and we go into exotic treasures, I believe it's in here somewhere. Right now we're looking for the chain. Here we go. Sprite chain. So sprite chain will capture these and you'll have a chance of getting the purple egg, the purple shards. You can even potentially get a yellow egg or yellow shards to get the higher tier one, which is actually what you're after. Keep in mind here, the item that you use to capture the pet will determine whether or not the sprite is tradable. So if you use a sprite chain that says bind and you capture a sprite, that sprite cannot be traded. But if you use one that isn't bound and you capture a sprite, you will be able to trade the sprite. And if we go into, I believe I have one. I want to sell in the trading post. So this one here I caught without the item being bound. And as you can see here, 200,000 gold for a blast goblin egg. Usually you'd use this to upgrade because you need the shards, but I don't actually need those shards. Okay, so the very last thing that we're going to be talking about here is we're going to be talking about the store. So if we go into currency and we go down here in the golden sprite stone. So basically what you do here is you sell your sprites to the NPC store, and when you do, you will get stones or, a currency. When you trade, I believe it's purple and below, so mutant and normal, you're going to get the silver tokens. But when you trade yellow and above, whether or not it's, shards or eggs, you're going to get the gold currency. Now, if you look in here, you can buy a bunch of different things. You can buy toys, which we looked at a moment ago, but this will actually take your locked gems. But you can also get a lot of toys down here. You can get up here, grants a legendary or mythic sprite egg. Very important, right? But this would require you to trade a lot of legendary plus shards or pets to be able to get it. So just keep in mind that while this store is okay, you could be also selling your sprites and shards on the marketplace for a tremendous amount of gold. Okay, so I think that covers everything for this video for sprites. Please do look at the spreadsheet. It will give you a lot more information that I could not give here, and will give you a full understanding on how sprites work in this game. Thanks for watching, guys.